So, Johnny, the global debt markets are huge, and blockchain is increasingly being used when issuing bonds. Can you give an update on what's happening here?
Well, yeah, it was estimated that there was something like $6.8 trillion dollars worth of U.S. corporate debt issued last year, and the approximate cost was around about 46 billion. So that accounts for some fairly hefty bonuses in certainly in Wall Street. But if HSBC are correct, and by using blockchain technology, you can reduce the issuance cost of bonds by 90%, then that could save 40 billion in costs. Not so good for Wall Street and the sort of fat bonuses, but brilliant value for the people that are issuing debt. And the biggest issues of debt are governments. So that being the case, it's easy to see now why governments are increasingly turning to blockchain technology. So we've seen obviously the World Bank issuing two tranches of bonds, or the Bondi bonds as they're called, worth about 100 million in total. And then just within the last few weeks, we've seen IBM issue 1.6 billion of bonds for the Thai government. Because the amount of debt that's being issued by governments to help fight COVID-19 is at a record level. And companies also have been very aggressively buying back their stock because they can't grow their earnings. So in order to increase their earnings per share, they reduce the amount of shares actually in issue. But meanwhile, because of this situation of people unfortunately being locked down, not being able to spend money, we've actually seen the level of indebtedness amongst consumers actually being reduced. Indeed, in the UK, the average household debt has fallen by some £2,000. But meanwhile, what we're seeing as it becomes cheaper for bonds to be issued using blockchain technology, then it potentially opens up the opportunity for small to medium-sized businesses. Instead of issuing equity, they can issue bonds, so it opens up a new source of capital for them. And they could be offering quite attractive yields for investors, somewhere between 5 and 12% for a corporate bond or a number of sort of household companies that you're aware of. The trouble is that will the economy maintain its strength in order for these companies to be able to afford to pay investors that sort of return?